Today I want to talk to you about how overwhelmed we are in our society. You know, just as an example, last week I was at a teachers' convention where they could choose from a variety of different workshops. There was how to teach math to grade 3s. There was all kinds of different topics they could choose from. Mine was self-care strategies that work. Do you want to know how many teachers signed up for my little simple workshop on self-care strategies? 600. 600 teachers showed up for this session on how to take care of themselves because they're feeling overwhelmed. And you know what's sad is that this is not anything new. This is something that we're seeing across the board, from workplaces to homes to schools. Everyone seems to be feeling like they're overwhelmed, overworked. And yet we all want to thrive. We all want our lives to flourish. I find it interesting that we all want the same thing, but we're experiencing something that we all don't want. And so how can we thrive? How can you thrive even when you're feeling overwhelmed? How can we thrive as a society when right now it just seems to be so hard? Well, we have a couple of ideas of how you can do that. You know, number one, I think it's important to recognize what mindset we're in. Here at Flourishing, we talk about 4 different mindsets that people are in any part of their day. We talk about a surviving mindset. We talk about a protecting mindset. We talk about a striving mindset, and we talk about a thriving mindset. Now, when you hear that, you think, ooh, the thriving mindset is where I want to be. The thriving mindset is the correct answer. But the truth is that we need to understand that to be human means that we're probably in all 4 of those mindsets every single day. So how can we move towards thriving? Instead of thinking, I want to be in a thriving state all the time, think about how can I move towards thriving? Because the danger with wanting to be in a thriving mindset all the time is that we become people who can't handle brokenness. We become people who can't handle negativity. We become people who can't handle those toxic people. Now, do there need to be boundaries with toxicity? Absolutely. Do we want to have positive thoughts? You bet we do. But we need to know how to hold those things and move towards the thriving mindset. And so here's some ways that you can connect with yourself, but also connect with others in the different parts of these mindsets. So for example, a surviving mindset, that person in that state, what do they need? Well, they need safety and trust. They need to be heard. They need to be listened to. Maybe you need to be listened to. When we're surviving, we're not in our prefrontal cortex where we problem solve, where we're reasonable. We aren't thinking clearly at all. And just by saying the words, just by expressing our thoughts in a journal or with a friend that's trustable or with a friend that's trustworthy, this is where we can regulate. This is where we can come out of a surviving mindset. Now, somebody in a protecting mindset, you know what they need? They need vision. They need to be reminded why they matter. They need to be reminded why what they're doing is important. They need to know why. That's what someone in a protecting mindset needs, because that person who's protecting, well, they're feeling guarded. They're feeling apprehensive. They're feeling like they want to withdraw. They're not wanting to lean in, and we need to give them a reason to lean in. Now, maybe you're finding that you're in a protecting mindset. So what do you need? You need to remind yourself why you matter, why what you're doing matters. Whatever you need to do to lead yourself in this moment. What are the books that you need to read? What are the podcasts you need to listen to? Who do you need to get around that's going to inspire you and lift you up? The third mindset is striving. Somebody in a striving mindset is afraid. They're afraid to step out of their comfort zone. They're afraid of failing. They want to thrive. They want to step out and be brave, but they don't know how to. And so somebody who's in a striving mindset, they need you to remind them what their strengths are. They need to know that they have what it takes to try and risk. They need to be reminded that failure is actually learning, that it's not maybe always going to work out, but it's always going to be a chance to learn. if you're in a striving mindset, you need to get around people who will remind you what your strengths are. And when those people aren't around you, you need to dig in real deep and you need to figure out what are my strengths, and not just your talents, not just your abilities, but what are those internal strengths that have come out of the adversities of life? Things like the willingness to persevere, things like the willingness to be brave. Those things happen when we've come out of adversity. And I'm going to give you an extra tool right now. Are you ready? This extra tool for this step is list out all your strengths, but then beside every strength, list out the opportunity that you have right beside it and give one of them a go. Anyone in a thriving mindset, you know what they need? They need to be left alone to try. They need autonomy. They need to be not micromanaged. They need to be able to be creative. But someone in a thriving mindset, you know what else they need? They need to be reminded that when hard times hit, and if they're ever in a surviving or a protecting or a striving mindset, that they're going to bounce back. In fact, you're not just going to bounce back, you're going to bounce forward. That's what thriving is about. Knowing that the adversities of life are forming you. Knowing that you have what it takes to make it through hard things. That's a thriving mindset. So you could have hell happening all around you and still have a thriving mindset. We want to remind you today that you are strong, you are tenacious, you have what it takes. And here at Certified Flourishing Coach, we actually coach around these 4 mindsets. We can teach you how to move towards the thriving mindset. Check us out at certifiedflourishingcoach.com for more, and we'll see you next time.